Well, Andy, we've got 2 more opportunities at the end of this year for the Cadet Academy. Just tell us a little bit about what that entails.
Well, yeah, for the last 2 races, the school holidays are over. So what we thought we'd try and do is incorporate, before the practice starts on a Saturday morning, from 9 o'clock until 11 o'clock, the Cadet Academy. This time there is a cost involved. It's £60, and some kids can come down if they've been to Daytona or they've been here, Buckmore Park or Whilton Mill, got some experience. They need to book in with the office, and what we will be doing is some proper coaching, an introduction to the kart. So the sessions will be a little bit of a sort of a classroom thing to begin with. Then we'll be moving on to the circuit. There'll be cones on the circuit for braking points, cones on the entry to some of the corners, like for the gate, to create a gate so that the kids can learn about the apex and where they should turn in. So it's a little bit more, there's a bit more depth to it rather than just jumping in a cart and razzing around for 5 minutes. Hopefully they'll get something out of it. And the biggest thing is that the parents and the kids will be at one of our events. Therefore they'll be able to speak to the other competitors, they'll be able to see the setup, they'll be able to watch a bit of practice, and they'll just get a feel for the Birel ART series really. So we think that'll be more productive moving forward for some of the youngsters, considering the championship for next year.
And drivers can compete in this from as young as 7, so obviously that's a good starting point for them to get involved in the academy.
Yeah, we've changed it really mid-season. We took the decision that there's quite a lot of kids that are 7. There is the Bambino karts, which are the shorter karts, and in some cases the kids aren't getting the mileage out of that. Our kart's obviously slightly restricted, so for me it makes more sense from 7. They've still got to pass our driving test. We just won't let any kid just suddenly get involved in a test session with all the other competitors. So we're about education, we're about responsible trading, and we want to get as many new kids involved, because it does take 1 to 2 seasons, and as you've seen, a lot of our drivers now are really coming on strong. So that's what we're about really.
And of course these young drivers, if they're on the grid in 2018, then they'll be racing up against some of the best in the country, like Oliver Gray and Ella Stevens.
Yeah, I mean, I think actually Oliver's got to move up, and I think Ella's got another year, but some of the protagonists at the moment are going to be moving up to juniors, so we need some new cadets, we need some new blood. As I said, it takes a couple of seasons to get going, get their confidence. I think we're going to have a couple of new tracks on the calendar for next year, so it's a good time to get involved.
And for the fraction of the cost, it's a good stepping stone up to things like Ginetta Juniors on the main karting circuits.
Yeah, I mean, for next year, I think everybody will start to see a lot more of a heavier presence from Ginetta. Lawrence Tomlinson, the owner of Ginetta, is a real advocate of our championship. I think in many ways, the mentality that we have for the way that we police things technically and the racing is very much like Ginetta Juniors. So we want to give as many of our junior drivers next year the opportunity to get involved with Ginetta. So we'll have some very exciting announcements coming along as and when. We're looking to try to be present at Autosport in January. The other thing that we're going to be changing for next year is the juniors. If a junior reaches the age of 15, then the junior can go into seniors. We need to bolster the super elites, so everybody's going to shuffle along. We've got more youngsters hopefully coming in, but the juniors moving up. So hopefully it'll all knit together nicely, and we'll have an even better championship next year.
Getting really excited by the sound of all that. Thanks, Andy.
All right, thanks. Thank you.